Hello kindergarten artists. This week, friends, we're going to be starting a new art project inspired by the time of year that it is, spring. We're going to be creating some seasonal art and we're going to be using what's called mixed media. That's when we use many different types of art materials to make our art. Speaking of art materials, let's go take a look at what we need to start our spring nesting birds today. So today we're going to be starting by building a nest for our birds. We need this small brown and green paper, as well as this light blue colored paper. Next, art class friends, we will make our bird and our eggs. But again today, we're going to start by building a nest for our birds. So let's start on our blue paper. And I'll pick out some colors that I might think go well in a nest. Sometimes birds use many different things in their nest. For example, if they find string or yarn on the ground that's kind of soft, they might use that as well. So besides traditional kind of colors that I might find about twigs or other colors outdoors, I could use colors even like blues, purples, and reds. Once I have a couple of colors, I want to think about the shape of a bird's nest. It's often nice and round to help kind of hold the eggs in. So I'm going to go ahead and start with any color I want, doesn't matter which one. And I'm going to start by making some big round spirals. Notice how I started in the middle and grew out, and now I'm going back to the center. So there's my first color. I'll pick up another color and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm spiraling, starting in the middle, growing out to a nice big nest, and then I'll start coming back in towards the center again. I'll go to another color. Sometimes I like to start big and go back to the center. Sometimes I'll do a lot in the center and only a little bit on the outside. I'm pressing kind of hard with my colors today, but not so hard that I break them. Again, you can pick the colors that you want for your nest today, friends. Maybe if I want to go back to one of my first colors, maybe I'll even add a little bit more brown. And again, you'll notice my nest fills up most of my paper. I only have a little bit of space left at the top or the bottom and the sides. And it's okay if your nest actually does go all the way to the edges of your paper. That way you have a nice big nest to help support your bird and your eggs. Next thing I might want to do is go ahead and add some twigs and some leaves. As you can see here on my example, I used brown and green paper to help make my twigs and leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and grab out those two small pieces now, friends. As always, if you need to pause the video and finish catching up on your nest first, please do. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors on my brown paper to start making some twigs. All I need to do is cut some pieces that are either thin or kind of thick to help make some twigs. I like to cut up my whole piece of paper just to start with. And then after that, I'll start laying down some pieces where I might want them to go. So here's my twigs that I went ahead and cut up. I like to separate some of my larger ones out first and my skinnier ones off to one side. And then I'll start laying them around in my nest. Maybe some of my twigs might come off the edge of my nest, and that's okay. Maybe some of my twigs even I might cut a little shorter just to make them fit better on one side. I can even have some of my twigs overlap a little bit as they go around my nest. Maybe there might even be one or two in the middle as well. So maybe that's where I will put my twigs. I'll go ahead and get out my glue. As always, you can use glue bottle or glue stick. I'll go ahead and put a little bit of glue down and glue my sticks in place. I'm going to go ahead now, friends, and speed this step up so that way I get all of my sticks glued where I want them. As always, please pause the video when you need to, friends. Here's how my twigs look now in my bird's nest. I'm going to go ahead now and make some leaves to add as well. Sometimes birds will decorate their nests with leaves, and sometimes the leaves might turn brown or die or fall out, but sometimes birds will refresh their leaves and bring new ones into the nest, and they'll be nice and green just like your paper here. So for this step, my friends, you might want a pencil to help draw some leaves first. As always, there's many different shapes of leaves, so if you want to make different leaves than me, that's okay. Here's how I like to make leaves though. I start with a smiley curve, and then I put a frowny curve on top of it. I always think this shape kind of looks like a football or an almond. Again, you can use different shapes because some leaves are more round at one end and pointed at the other, and some leaves are just round. So however you want to make some leaves today, friends. Maybe your leaf might have some points on it. Or maybe not. You decide. But again, draw more leaves than you think you might need at first and cut them out. That way you can add them to your nest. I'm going to go ahead and use my scissors now to cut my leaves out. And again, I'm going to speed up this step a little bit, friends. That way you can see the next step as well. Please pause the video if you need to. Now it's time to go ahead and add my leaves around my nest. And again, I prefer these types of leaves, so maybe I might add these ones first, going different places in my nest. I can even have a couple in the middle or on the edges of my paper as well. If I think there's maybe too many leaves, I might take a few off. Again, you get to decide how your nest looks for your birds. Once I'm happy with where they are, I'll go ahead and get my glue again. Using just a little bit of glue, like a few dots, I'll go ahead and glue my leaves down. So here is our goal for this week, my friends. I have a finished nest that is ready for a bird and some eggs come next art class. As always, if you did some gluing, please don't put it back in your art folder today. Please instead leave it out to dry, maybe on top of your art folder. And don't forget to help do some cleanup. Don't leave messes for parents or other adults to clean up. There is no homework in Seesaw if you came to the live art class. As always, friends, if you do this lesson with this video, please provide a photo of your started art project so that way I know that you are getting your work done. I'll have to say my BYEs for today, friends, but as always, have fun creating.